Evam griheshu saktanam pramatanam todihaya Utyukrama Devigyata Kala Paramadustara. So, there is a statement Krishna. He was the last of the Inkaru. Inkaru were the kings of Peru. So, you've probably seen the pictures of the ancient mountain cities of Peru, where the people known as the Inca had their civilization. So this was a very powerful culture at that time, some 500 years ago. They were extremely wealthy. They had tons and tons of gold at their disposal. Prabhupada explained that South America was the place where Ravana used to keep his gold, his extra gold. He had some tunnel. He had a brother named Mahiravana who had some tunnel system under the sea, extending from Lanka to South America. And so the extra gold in their treasury they used to stash over on that side. So anyway, in South America there was a culture, a civilization, which grew out of this Rakshasa style of Vedic civilization. Because Ravana, in his own way, he was a follower of Vedic culture. So, the Inca civilization was extremely wealthy. The city, which is still there, Cusco, was at that time a city of gold. Practically every building was decorated with gold in those days. So the Spanish had come to South America, and they had already overrun another culture, the Maya civilization, and they plundered much silver and gold there. But then they heard that up in the mountains, the Andes are the highest mountains in the Americas. Actually, except for the Himalayas, they're the highest mountains in the world. So they heard that in these high mountains on the western coast of South America, which is nowadays called Peru, there was even more fabulous treasures to be plundered. So, one Spanish conquistador named Pizarro, he gathered together a band of volunteer soldiers and one priest, because the priest was always there to bless the plundering of the local peoples. And they marched off to find the city of gold in the high mountains. So, as they approached the Andes Mountains, they found that the lowlands were all cultivated very nicely. The Indian people, the South American Indian people, Inca people, they were working in the fields, and everything was very nicely managed, supervised. And they discovered that this kingdom was supervised by the king through messengers or runners. They had very nice roads built, extending to all corners of the kingdom. And there were men who would run along these roads. Only they were allowed to travel on these roads. And they would go and see what was happening in this or that part of the kingdom, give a message from the king, take information back, and everything was recorded on some type of beaded strings. They were set, the beads on the strings were set according to some code. And so in this way, messages were brought back and forth. So everything in the kingdom was very nicely overseen. And therefore, Pizarro and his men were told that the eyes and ears of the Incaru, the Inca king, are everywhere. So, when Pizarro asked, who is this Inkaru? The answer was, he is God. He is the son of the sun planet. So, of course, this disturbed the priest very much. But Pizarro, interestingly enough, he was actually an atheist. He didn't like Christianity very much. And so he thought, this sounds interesting. He said, after all, who knows what religion is right? Maybe this priest and his religion is the wrong religion. Maybe this Inkaru actually is descended from the sun planet. So Pizarro was thinking, this is a good opportunity. I will conquer God. So actually he was nurturing this idea that, because he was very impressed. He was very impressed with everything he saw. How everything was so nicely managed. And he was thinking, this Inkaru, he cannot be an ordinary man. So maybe he is some divine being. But nonetheless, I will place my foot on his head. I will conquer him. And I will show myself greater than God. So, the Inkaru, in his royal palace up in the mountains, he of course received immediately the news of Pizarro entering his kingdom. But there was a prophecy that had been handed down from olden times that a divine person who was white of skin, who had been in South America a long time ago, he would return and he would bless the Inkaru. So some of the Inkaru's advisors were saying, these Spanish, they're rascals. We should just kill them immediately. There was only something like 140. Pizarro and his party was very small. So we just kill them. But the Inkaru, he was remembering the prophecy. He was saying, no, I want to be blessed by this divine being. So do not obstruct him. Let him come. So high up in the mountains, the Inkaru, came to greet Pizarro and his men. He came in the company of 3,000 of his own soldiers. But before they came up to Pizarro and his party, the Inkaru told his soldiers, "You drop your weapons. There is no need to have weapons. For these are divine beings." So they approached Pizarro and his men, and Pizarro, he had already set the plan. So when they got close enough, he shouted the signal, which was the word Santiago. And then the soldiers, they took out their guns, they took out their swords, and they slaughtered the 3,000 unarmed soldiers, and they captured the Inkaru. So Pizarro told the Inkaru that I will let you go only if you bring us gold. So the Inkaru said, "Oh, if it's gold you want, then I will buy my life from you." And then there was one building. This was one of the cities of the Incas where this event had happened, where the soldiers were slaughtered and everything. So there's one temple, and he pointed to that temple, and he said, within a certain amount of time, a few weeks, I will fill this temple with gold, and you may take it, then you let me go. So the people of the Inkaru, they were bringing from all over the kingdom so many gold items, plates and ornaments and so on and so forth. And within a short time, this great room was filled to the top with tons of gold. So, while this was going on, Pizarro, he developed a close relationship with the Inkaru. Practically, Pizarro, he became converted to the religion of the Incas. Of course, again, his final interest was simply that he could go back to Spain and say, I conquered God. So his interest in this Inca religion was only a sort of manifestation of his own lust to be considered important. So anyway, this relationship between Pizarro and the Inkaru made the priest very envious. So he agitated the other Spanish soldiers. He gave reasons, arguments, and so on, agitated them. That this Inkaru, he was simply satanic, and he should be killed. So, after that temple room was filled up with gold, then there was a trial, one of these Inquisition type trials was held, and the Inkaru was declared heathen, non-believer. Heathen means, non-satanic, non-believer. And so he was sentenced to die by strangulation. They put a rope around him and choke him to death. So the Inkaru told Pizarro that I am a god. I am descended from the sun. So even they tried to kill me. The next morning when the sun comes up, I will stand. I will revive from death. And my people will come down out of the mountains and they will kill all these rascals. But you are my dear friend, so you will not be killed, and you can stay here with me and enjoy my kingdom. So Pizarro, who was in any case very tired of this priest, he thought, yes, this is a good idea. He actually believed, he started to believe that the Inkaru could do this. So the Inkaru was strangled, and Pizarro waited next to his body through the whole night. And also the Inca people, many Inca people, they were coming down in the night out of the mountains, and they were also gathering there, waiting for the sunrise. And then on the eastern horizon, they could see the light coming over the mountains. And they were getting more and more excited, and the Incas were chanting prayers. And Pizarro, he was also getting very excited. And then the sun broke over the horizon. And the brilliant rays of the sun came down and shone upon the body of the Inkaru. But he did not move. So actually that was the end of the Inca civilization. The Inca people, when they saw he did not move, they lost all their spirit and they simply became the servants of the Spaniards. And as far as Pizarro, he went mad. So this is an example of someone who thought he could, first of all, he thought he could buy his life by paying a room full of gold. And even when death came upon him, he thought that he could be revived from death. So Srila Prabhupada quotes the Upanishads in his Bhagavad Gita commentary, this statement by Yajnavalkya to his wife Gargi about persons who leave the body in the state advidit vasmal, means in ignorance of the truth. And he says they are kripana. Yovaita daksharam gargi avidivasma loka praiti sakripana. A person who dies in ignorance of his real position is a kripana. Kripana means miser. Simply, he's attached to his material, first of all, his own material body, his own material identity that he's accepted, and his material possessions, and his family, and his people, and his nation, and so on. So kripana means no better than an animal. An animal also leaves the body in complete ignorance. As explained here, such persons are so much attached to their own delusions that they cannot even see how death is coming upon them. Just like the Inkaru, his advisors were telling him that this Pizarro, his men, they are death for you and they are coming. But he thought, no, this is a blessing. Let them come. Do not stop them. So this is what it means here, imperceptible time. Death is coming. Death is knocking on the door. But still we think, no, this is not death. This is some blessing. So opposed to kripana, yuva etad aksham vidit vasmal loka praiti sabrahmana. So One who leaves this body in knowledge, knowing himself to be spirit, soul, and knowing that he does not belong to this material world. He is called Brahmana. That means by his knowledge, he attains the supreme Brahman. He attains the spiritual world when he leaves this body. So, Mahatam Kalu Viprashe Uttama Shloka Padayo Chaya Nibritta Chittanam. Yes, Chaya Nibritta Chittanam. So one who is surrendered his consciousness into the shade, Chaya means shade, into the shade of the lotus feet, Uttama Shloka Padayo, the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, who is called Uttama Shloka. Then his mind, Chaya Nibritta, Chittanam, his mind is free. Nibritta means free from all contamination. All contamination. So this Chaya Nibritta Chittanam, when the consciousness is free from contamination, that means Na Kutumbe Sprihamati. That means he is not bewildered by material identity, by a family attachment, by material possessions. Kutumba. Kutumba means the family life, the material life, friends, family, possessions, all of that. So na kutumbe matir. And mati means intelligence. So na kutumbe spriha matir. So the intelligence does not become covered by the kutumba, by the material life. Because he is Uttama Shloka Padayo. He is situated at the lotus feet of Uttama Shloka. Now this name, Uttama Shloka, this is the name of Krishna, which means he is glorified by choice prayers, songs, mantras. So one who is Uttama Shloka Padayo, situated at the lotus feet of Lord Uttama Shloka, is obviously one who is always engaged in the glorification of Krishna. So, because his mind, his chitta, his consciousness is fixed in this way at the lotus feet of the Lord, he is free from all delusions. And thus, death for such a devotee of the Lord simply means that he attains the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna eternally. But those who are materialistic, they have no taste for the glorification of Krishna. Like Bhagavatam says, Shrotavyadhini Rajendra, that those who are materialistic, Shrotavyadhini, they have so many things. Shrotavyadhini means subject matter for hearing. So they have so many other subjects to listen to besides the glorification of Krishna. Shrotavyadini Rajena Ninam Santi Sahasraha. Thousands, Sahasrasaha means thousands and thousands of nonsense conversations they're listening to, nonsense news reports, nonsense songs on the radio, so many nonsense subject matters filling their ears at every moment. So by hearing unlimited mundane subject matter, apashyatam atmatatvam, they remain blind to atmatattva. Atmatattva means the truth of the spirit soul, or the truth of the supreme soul. Atma can refer to the individual soul as well as Paramatma. So both, they remain blind. So, the pure devotee's consciousness, as we explained, his intelligence, anakatumba sprihamati, it is free from attachment to the kutumba, to the family situation, although he may be in family situation. But his intelligence is not bewildered by it. But as far as the But as far as the one who is not interested in the glories of the Lord, his intelligence is described in another way. Griheshu grihamedinam. Griheshu grihamedinam. That is their intelligence. It means, medhi means intelligence, griha means the home. So their intelligence is simply invested in maintaining their households. Nidriya hriyate naktam uvavayena chavavaya divya chartanaya rajam kutumba bharavenana. Here we hear this word again. Kutumba. It appears. So for one who is Grihamedi, whose intelligence is devoted completely to household affairs, they have no other business except working hard in the day to make money, and at night their time is spent in sex and in sleep. And Kutumba Bharanenava. They think that the only goal to life is to maintain the family. So this condition is called pramata. You see in this verse, pramatanam, and Prabhupada translates this as insanely attached. So such persons are insanely attached to their household affairs. As another verse explains, Tesham pramato nidhanam pashyanapi na pashyati. Such mad grihamedis, they see all around them that death is coming to everyone else. But like the Inkaru, they're thinking, no, I have enough money to buy off death. If death comes to me in the form of some sudden illness, sickness, accident, I'm insured. I have my medical insurance. I have lots of money in the bank. So I'll get fixed up again. They're thinking that all their family attachments will protect them from inevitable death. Although it is obvious when we look around at the world, we see no one is protected by family attachments. No matter how much money they have in their bank, everyone is being carried away by death. So therefore, Pashyanapi na pashyati. It is seen. Pashyanapi, it can be seen that death comes to all. But such a foolish person, Grihamedi, na pashyati, he cannot see it for himself. He thinks somehow or other, he is so powerful, he's so special, that he's exempt from the laws of nature. So therefore he goes on drinking poison through the ears. He thinks he's got everything under control, so he can go on simply drinking this poison of mundane sound vibration. this poison which perverts the consciousness, perverts the intelligence more and more and more. So this is how one becomes kripana. Simply at the end of one's life, one is so much attached. His consciousness has been so much perverted that he cannot see beyond his little griha. So when death comes to drag him out, his consciousness is clinging. So like I was told about the death of one person, one man. So his friends and family were around him. And when death was coming, he became very desperate. And he was telling his friends, "Bring my money." And he had some money in a drawer. So they brought him a big bundle of banknotes. And he was grasping it in his hands. And he was holding on to it like this. And then he died. So his fingers froze around the money. When the medical officers came to take the body away, they actually had to break the fingers to take the money out of his hands. They froze. They were like pieces of wood, simply frozen around the money. So this type of attachment will not help one. It is useless. Therefore, we have to cultivate uttama shloka padayo. We have to cultivate attachment to the lotus feet of Lord Uttama Shloka. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us the simple and sublime method of chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So, this regulated chanting, Shankha Purvaka, that one should chant fixed number of rounds every day, 16 rounds at least. This causes this, we were explaining the other day, rati, this transcendental attraction, this transcendental attachment to increase in the heart. And this is the success. If we become addicted to chanting our rounds every day. So all the devotees, they have taken this vow. They must chant 16 rounds every day. But we advise our friends also, those who are not living in the temple, or not under initiation vows, you should also chant at least 16 rounds a day. Get a taste for this. Your success in life will be that if for some reason one day you do not, by the end of the day, you have not completed your 16 rounds, you will feel very unhappy. And that unhappiness will force you to stay up late, not take rest so early, so that you complete your 16 rounds. That will be your success if you can come to this stage. That means attachment to Lord Uttama Shloka, and that attachment will save us at the time of death. Actually, death is the test. Who is actually advancing in Krishna consciousness and who is not. Sometimes I have seen in situations where, like for instance, in riding an automobile and with devotees and friends together, and there is a near accident, and then you can see where everyone's consciousness really is, when it seems like the car is going to crash, but at the last moment it didn't. So you see, those who are actually Krishna conscious, when they see this accident upon them, they start to chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And those who are not advanced in Krishna consciousness, they go, ah! So that is the real test. One may have some reputation of being very advanced or whatever, but it's like Prabhupada quotes, there's a Bengali saying that you may be practicing some sadhana, some form of spiritual discipline, and for this you have become known. That, he is a great devotee in this way or that way. He does this service, that service. And he's become famous for that. But the real worth of your activities will be tested at the time of death. So we don't want to end up like the Inkaru, you see. Famous in so many ways, the great king, descendant of the sun, able to, as the Inkaru said, I can swallow death and spit it out. And there he was, laying on the ground, dead as a doornail. That's an expression. You know, a nail. So, the devotee who is attached to Lord Uttama Shloka, who is attached to the glorification of Krishna, and his attachment to the Lord is not interrupted by death. So actually a devotee stands up. He does stand up after the death of the body. Of course, others will not see him because he's standing up in his spiritual body. But this we must cultivate. So the practice is given to us, the sadhana, to rise early and to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra faithfully every day. This will clear the consciousness of all the delusions of material attachment. And it will bind the consciousness to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.